Ancient Rome, the nation built on a republic, is about to see its structure completely shaken. Augustus, heir to the great Julius Caesar, seeks to fill the void left by his adopted father and paints the road there in Roman blood. March 14th, 44 BC. The reign of Julius Caesar comes to an abrupt end. Mark Antony, a friend and supporter of Caesar, is detained outside the Senate building as his dictator walks in. A group of conspirators rush to Caesar with a petition, but they are hastily shooed away by the annoyed leader. A second group also walks up to Caesar, surrounding him. The petitioning then turns to arguing when Caesar feels his toga being pulled down, a signal to the rest of the group. Plutarch on the Caesar's assassination.
So the affair began, and those who were not privy to the plot were filled with consternation and horror at what was going on. They dared not fly nor go to Caesar's help, nay, nor even utter a word. Plutarch, late 1st century.
Julius Caesar was stabbed 23 times. His assassination would eventually lead to violence and even a bloody civil war. Before his death, he named his grandnephew, Octavian, as an adopted son and heir.
Scholars attribute growing tensions between Caesar and the Senate as the cause for his assassination. He was given the title Dictator Perpetuo, Dictator in Perpetuity. Another title given to him, Divus Julius, or the Divine Julius, made him the first Roman to be officially deified. He even had cause to claim the title of king, a position erased long ago and hated by all.
Octavian was only 18 when Julius was killed. After a year later, Octavian would form a political alliance with two powerful Romans that would set the stage for civil war.
Alongside Marcus Aemilius Lepidus and Mark Antony, Octavian formed an alliance known as the Second Triumvirate, which was effectively a three-man dictatorship. The first triumvirate was a group formed by Julius Caesar and two other men, but unlike theirs, the second was a legally established alliance that held immense power, enough to outrank all magistrates and consuls. The only thing that limited the triumvirs was the 5-year term set upon it.
One of the first acts carried out by the Second Triumvirate was that of eliminating Marcus Junius Brutus and Gaius Cassius Longus, two of the main conspirators in the assassination of Julius Caesar. In 42 BC, the two assassins had taken control of many eastern provinces, including Macedonia. Two of the three triumvirates, Octavian and Antony, declared war on the conspirators and fought in two battles of Philippi. After the battle, Octavian took to calling himself Divi Filius, son of divinity, and Imperator Caesar.
The Roman Republic was split three-way between the triumvirate, with Antony and Octavian getting most of the land. Octavian took most of western Rome, and Antony took the eastern territory around Macedonia and Asia. Lepidus was given a very minimal amount of land in the very northern coast of Africa. Octavian suspected him of negotiating with a man named Sextus Pompey, who they would later fight. Lepidus's influence in the triumvirate from this point forward was almost non-existent.
The distribution of land caused tensions to rise between the triumvirates themselves and with the Roman people. Soldiers coming back from the campaign took farmland from the citizens, and Lepidus's disposition towards Antony and Octavian became increasingly sour. Lucius Antonius, Mark Antony's brother and current consul, stood up for the citizens. This action led to the Perusian War, another conflict the triumvirs won. Lepidus was given control of Rome as Octavian set out to gather an army, and lost it to Lucius for a short time. Octavian pushed Lucius out, and he surrendered in the winter of 41 BC. This victory gained Octavian more legions, increasing his power further.
5 years later, in 36 BC, the triumvirate set out against Sextus Pompey, the man Lepidus was thought to have negotiated with. Sextus had begun raiding Italian towns and would not stop his acts of piracy when confronted by Octavian, until they signed the Pact of Misenum, which gave Sextus some Italian islands. The first triumvirate didn't last very long, and the second followed suit. Internal instability eventually led to the disbanding of the alliance.
Lepidus, still without any considerable amount of land, stationed troops in Sicily and demanded he be given it. He threw claims of inequality at the other triumvirs and wanted to be treated as part of the alliance. This gave Octavian an opportunity to gain more power and rid himself of the triumvir.
Octavian accused Lepidus of attempting to rebel. There was no major conflict between the three triumvirs, though. Lepidus's troops defected to Octavian, and he was exiled to Circe on the Tyrrhenian coast south of Rome. The next conflict between the triumvirs would not go so smoothly.
Before any of the triumvirs began to fall out, peace offerings were made between the men to ensure the alliance would stay strong. One of these offerings was Octavian's sister, who was married to Antony in 40 BC. Antony also gave his stepdaughter to Octavian to foster peace between the two. This pact was used against Antony.
After the exile of Lepidus, Antony began living in Alexandria, Egypt. With him lived Cleopatra VII, with whom he had children. Octavian used this to turn the Roman people against him. Antony had set out in a few campaigns in Parthia and Armenia, and Cleopatra gave aid. Sensing something behind his actions, Octavian acquired Antony's will, in which he gave Roman land to Cleopatra and their children upon his death. To even further establish his popularity with the people, Octavian let the Roman Senate declare war on Cleopatra, as to not technically make this a civil war against Antony. In 31 BC, the last two remaining men of the Second Triumvirate met in Actium, in the Ionian Sea near Greece. Octavian and his general, Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, decisively defeated Antony. While Agrippa pushed Antony's naval forces further towards land, Octavian pushed in from the north with his troops on foot. After losing the Battle of Actium, Antony fled back to Alexandria with Cleopatra, where they both committed suicide in 30 BC. Octavian would take further steps to gain more power. The title of Princeps was given to him, which translates to the first citizen of Rome, which was the official title of the leader of Rome. His name was also changed to Augustus, which held heavy religious connotations, just like his father Julius did during his reign.
Octavian and the general Agrippa were named dual consuls upon the arrival back in Rome. Octavian would become the first Roman emperor in 27 BC, marking the end of the Roman Republic. Octavian kept his power after the end of the Roman civil wars, but also gave some back to the Roman Senate, or it appeared so.
He gave his control over the lands he took during that triumvirate and his soldiers back to the Roman Senate. He was not in direct control of his armies anymore, but they were all loyal to him, and he kept a very close eye on the Senate. He held the vast majority of Rome's wealth at the time, and even completely funded some construction projects in Rome himself. Octavian died on August 19, 14 AD. Both Tacitus and Cassius Dio, two renowned historians, attributed his death to a poisoning of fig leaves given to him by his wife. Augustus Caesar's last words.
Have I played the part well? Then applaud as I exit.
Augustus kept up with the facade of a powerful Roman politician through his reign, not wanting Romans to look back on his bloody rise to the top and see him for what he truly was, the first Roman emperor.
May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be when darkness falls.